really big question. But with the ability to dress a certain way and express your sexuality in a certain way in a costume versus in your real life. And, I'm just going to open that.
Well, I think that's not always necessarily the case because, there'll be a woman dressed as Slave Leia and people will treat her horribly.
Yeah.
And they just assume because you're in that specific outfit that you want to be treated that way, And, it's a horrible thing to do to someone and to assume about someone. And obviously, she could have been a different Leia, but, that's the one she liked, maybe from, when she was a little girl,
Leia still kicks ass, whether she's in Slave Leia or Senator Leia costume. Just saying. Thank you.
But it's just one of those things like, you can adapt a costume to make yourself more comfortable no matter, what that is. We see it all the time. We see different forms of these main, these main outfits. And I know I've heard a lot of people say, like, I really wish there were more, female superhero characters that I could feel comfortable cosplaying as their actual costume, if only the artists would, draw them a little more covered, because, most of the time, the male characters are covered head to toe practically, but that's, that's the reality of the comic business, as it is.
And when they're covered, they're covered with spandex. So there's that, right? Giant arms, hard to hide.
Just to add to that point, sometimes when I go to comic conventions, I walk the exhibit halls and interview people. And I've interviewed a number of women who were dressed as Catwoman or Wonder Woman or Poison Ivy. Not this Poison Ivy. And one of the things that the women talk about is that it's a way where they can express sexuality in a very safe way. And so I was really, they were very articulate about that. It was wanting to be a strong, empowered female character who is comfortable with her sexuality, and we have so few role models for that in our society. And so that's our main model. And I thought they were very eloquent, and I was really touched by the power that these characters held for them. And then related to that, in my work as a clinical psychologist, with some of the work that I do is teaching people how to act differently, how to behave differently. And the idea is if you behave differently, you start to think differently and feel differently. And so cosplay is really an integral part of that, because for these women, by behaving as empowered, powerful sexual beings, they do it enough and they start to feel that way. And that's really cool. That's a really cool part of cosplay that I don't think is talked about a lot.
Any particular character that you guys have wanted to cosplay? I know a lot of Jill's cosplay, which is fantastic. But is there anyone that you cosplay, or anything you wanted to do that you haven't gotten a chance to do, or one that you've done that you particularly like? Daenerys with the heart. Just saying.
Stop stealing my answers, Jenna. My Daenerys, my bloody Daenerys was one of my favorite, and one of the most that I got the most reactions to. I did it at San Diego and almost forgot immediately that I had blood all over my face. So as I was going to the convention, and people were just, staring at me. What's wrong? Oh, right, I forgot. And I'm holding a, horse heart in my hand. That was definitely one of my favorites. One that I have not done yet that I'm waiting to do, and will be doing hopefully sometime in the near future in some aspect. I'm not going to say exactly. I usually like to keep things secret, but Batgirl.
I have a long list of obscure video game characters that no one cares about, but I definitely would love to cosplay something from the Baldur's Gate series, because I love those games. Yeah! So, I already, in fact, my best friend Jessica and I made a 12-foot tall Lady of Pain once, and it was, so I've already done insane things, but I think I'm just getting more to the games that I loved as a kid, because I want to bring those out and have that one person be like, I love your costume, I'm like, thank you.
A couple of years ago, I dropped a bunch of weight, right before my wedding, and fitness became a really important part of my life. And my lovely wife up there, the phantom that's about to murder me. That's my wife. Part of what kept me motivated for with the fitness thing was picking costumes that had a body type that I was trying to get close to. So I did a Wolverine costume, and I wanted to be Wolverine in a tank top. So I worked out really, really hard so that I could get close. Not quite. I mean, it's Wolverine. So whatever I do next, I want to make part of it, just because this is what's important to me, a physical fitness type challenging thing. I think I might go with Robin from Arkham City, because I gotta put on a little arm mask. So, yeah.
I have to say, I'm also trying to start incorporating my wheelchair into my cosplay, which I kind of only can do at local shows. I'm local to New York, just because that's a really hard thing to travel or ship, with. But that's something I'm looking forward to doing too.
I actually remember several years ago, I was actually talking to Jill, and I was thinking of what costume to wear next, and I always constrained myself, and I was in my mind I was thinking, what are all these sort of ethnic ambiguous ladies in comics? There's like 2 or 3, and I was asking Jill, and Jill's like, you can be anything you want to be, and it's so true. I mean, it's such a simple answer, but it's so true that you can. I mean, that's sort of the great fantasy of cosplay, is that you can break all the rules. So as far as, I just wanted to mention that, because that came from you, Jim. But as far as a character that I actually every year I do this sort of female version of Darth Vader. I call her Lady Vader. And I haven't been able to fashion the helmet yet, so I do this and I try to improve it every year, but I haven't yet quite gotten the ability to do sort of like a feminine mask. So one day I will do that, and I'll have the full outfit.
I appreciate that you said that. I wanted to be Storm when I was a little girl, so I don't maybe look like Storm. It's fine. I can be Storm. What about you? You want to be Storm too, don't you?
Everyone wants to be Storm.
I probably want to be Superman. All right.
But I want to fly.
Don't we all? All right, well, guys, thank you so much. And we really appreciate you coming. Also, costumes stand up.
We've got maybe about, I don't know, we can
Couple
possibly
minutes?
stretch it to maybe 10 minutes
Before
for
they
questions.
kick us out, does anyone have any? Girl in the green, in the front.